Ladies and gentlemen, will you please welcome AWE co-producer and your host for today, Tom Emmerich.
Aw, thanks, guys. That's amazing. So my name is Tom Emmerich. I'm sometimes called the man of the future. I love robots, cats, tacos, wearable technology, augmented reality, virtual reality. And thanks to the internet, sometimes those all collide, especially on Twitter. And don't forget to tweet during today's conference and expo. Our hashtag, the official hashtag, is hashtag AWE2016. And you can follow me at Tom Emmerich or the show at A Reality Event. And so I'm just going to go through a couple of housekeeping items just to get you excited for what's to come before we get Ralph Osterhout here as our first keynote speaker. We have an art gala reception and happy hour starting at 5 to 6:30 p.m. in Hall D, which is just behind you. Augie Awards take place today. So if you haven't already, the Best in Show Augie Award category are up for votes in the augmented reality, virtual reality, and wearable technology categories. So head on over to the app, and there's a link there to help you out. The winners for 9 of the categories will be announced today on stage here in Hall C at 6:30. And of course, we have our after party at the Hyatt Pool, which is totally cool, at 8 p.m. And you're just going to head over to the Hyatt Regency to be able to check out all the action. And the last announcement is that our expo hall has opened, and it's open today from 10 to 5. So outdoor enterprise smart glasses are here. Immersive mobile headworn entertainment is at hand, and our first keynote speaker is here to tell us what's on the horizon with smart glasses. Ralph Osterhout is the founder and CEO of Osterhout Design Group. In his career, he has developed over 2,000 different products and hundreds of separate product lines for companies ranging from startups to Fortune 500 companies. And he founded ODG in 1999. Please join me in welcoming our opening keynote, Ralph Osterhout of ODG, to the stage.
Thank you. Well, thanks for coming this early. For those that have never been here before, I'll let you in on a little secret. Augmented reality is not that hard. It really isn't. I mean, personally, there's people that are much brighter, younger, faster than me. It took me 32 years to really kind of figure it out. So those of you that are the brighter lights on the Christmas tree, I'm sure you'll do better. That's when I started back there. And believe it or not, night vision goggles were then, they were augmented reality. So the interesting thing is now there's a confluence of multiple sensor types in night vision for soldiers and law enforcement that combine multi-sensor inputs, texting, and other information as overlays that are vitally important to enhance what you perceive and see. Interestingly, you see this direction, and many people have asked me, why did it take so long? If you knew all this stuff and you built, well, many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of night vision goggles used by soldiers worldwide, why did it take so long for you to do this? I'll tell you simply, if you go back and jump in the Wayback Machine 8 or 10 years ago, you'd find flash memory that you'd need, you can put in glasses for $4, was 80 bucks. You look at processors that do so much power, they're oinkers, and you'd happen to have a nice Excite battery strapped around your waist, which would look very nice, but that's what you'd need for power. So now, of course, with the advent of very important smartphone, and I think the seminal change really was more than anything the iPhone, because the volumes are so extraordinary that it caused component prices to plummet. So worldwide now, there are the components you can do it with, and you can see this natural progression. So what you can do now is you can make a device, and that's a production device, and it's very lightweight, and basically it is complete tablet, computer, communications, and everything. It can do it all. We add $6 to it if we want, and it becomes a complete cell phone. So it's possible to do that now. What happens is interesting. It's easy. All you've got to do is develop equipment, testing alignment fixtures that allow you to be able to calibrate within 2 pixels over a megapixel display or better. That takes time, and believe me, it makes your eyes bleed when you're doing it. But when you get there, you can do some interesting things. So this I'd call wide horizon for a reason. This is 50-degree field of view. And 50 degree doesn't seem like very much. But when your glasses are out here and you bring them in tight like that, you notice your frame disappears. So 50 degrees, not standing off your head 4 or 5 inches, but right up where your glasses are now. It's a remarkable experience that stuns you. But my opinion doesn't matter, so let's make it quick. If you said, how many people here, show of hands, have been in an IMAX theater? Come on. Okay. All of you know you want to get in quick, get your popcorn, load yourself up with treats, get in the center of the theater, X and Y in front and back. If you do not find yourself in the center, you will be disappointed, and you may get a little bit uncomfortable after a while because your eyes are going to be hunting. But when you're in that spot, your actual field of view that you can enjoy and see continuously is 48 degrees. You can imagine I didn't choose 50 degrees by accident. So what you have here, if you notice, and you take a look at the little gold contacts on the top, those are gold-plated contacts that allow you to connect a multiplicity of devices to transform it not just to a head-worn display with high-resolution cameras, and it does, it has a 13-megapixel camera, but here's what it can do. You see the top, you see the slots? There's no such thing as a free lunch in technology. If you're going to run a processor fast and you have system on chip where it's integrated with everything imaginable, understand it will generate heat. And if it doesn't get the heat away from your head, crack a fried egg on your forehead and find some bread, because it's not going to be that comfortable. So now what you can do is make a system. And this is where things are going to go with AR. We're not going to have one little device. I'm not a profound believer in cables. I really like self-contained. I don't think anybody wants to have you plugged into the wall in order to think better. I think you really prefer your brain to be self-contained between your ears. So goes it with head-worn. And to those that I may have offended, please, I beg your apology. But I'm a big believer in integrated head-worn devices. So if you take a look up there, you see a 4K optically stabilized camcorder. So now you can capture video, rich video, and you can send it and share it back and forth in real time with complete stereo and 3D. And it's just absolutely luscious. And importantly, the file sizes are small enough that, of course, you can send it wirelessly in real time. Stereo distance mapping. So everybody talks about, let's do cameras, let's do structured lights, let's do everything else. So there's a combination of things. I'm a big believer that multi-modes can give you better things. Imagine there's tiny transducers and things there that are emitting electromagnetic energy in conjunction with optics and giving you extremely high resolution now to 5 meters. And the lower right, you see that Lighthouse standard position detection module. Slap that on, and any of those can be taken on and off in a few minutes. And what you end up having is the ability to play gaming anywhere, and with a high-speed processor, very, very fast GPU that tests have shown it's the fastest in the game right now, Arduino the 530 from Qualcomm. In conjunction with an 820, you have a very fast machine that can do some extraordinary things. And everything in focus is get rid of latency. Do everything you can to direct drive your output of your sensors directly to your imagers without going through unnecessary circuitry. So of course, it's got the normal things, earbuds and all that, and you have that wireless 3D speed mouse. Listen, don't get me wrong. I think sitting on a bus or a train and doing this is not as appealing as it could be. People wonder if you're having seizures. They offer you cold water. They give you a banana thinking your potassium levels are low. Actually, here's what I like. I got this device no bigger than a signet ring, and people can assume I'm either playing with myself or I'm controlling the information in my glasses. I hope it's the latter of the two. So you go on, what can't you interface with? We all think of head-worn, it's great. And now, how do you use it? How do you do a simple text, simple email? Bottom line is that's a very tiny little device that's about 4 inches wide and about 3/4 of an inch thick. And of course, it's got a 9-axis IMU, which means 3-axis essentially gyros, accelerometers, and magnetometers. So it knows your position, which is a lot's advantage. You can fly your little UAV around and control it perfectly, or flip it over. The gyro knows you just rotated in 180 degrees, and it shut off the keys, and now it's looking at your inputs on your controller. So now you're playing your favorite games anywhere, anytime. Inside or out, it makes no difference. So you can control with your voice, of course, but you don't probably want to be shouting out your PIN numbers and having meaningful, precious, sort of intimate discussions with people in public places. So I encourage to be other things, but there's times when, or an emergency when a voice is just grand. Like auto-dialing if your wife or significant others being faced with someone following them from a parking lot, or someone's being threatened, or a robbery looks imminent. Moving on, this is what a tiny 9-axis controller that you can put on your index finger. Why? Because your thumb is the most articulating digit on your body. And look how dandy what you can do with that is. Anything, anywhere, anytime. So why is everybody in who is 4 twitching neurons above their brainstem basically focusing on enterprise and industry? It's incredibly simple. Because you do not have to try to convince Caterpillar that having a guy with telepresence and glasses on be able to repair a giant piece of equipment that costs $4 or $5 million anywhere in the world is a good idea. Take warehouse location object recognition. Fun facts. Amazon has half a dozen massive warehouses that have over 1 million square feet as an average, 1,100 workers that walk 12 miles a day. Here's a fun fact from them. Shave me 10 seconds off the filling of an order, it'll drop $100 million to my bottom line. They pay attention to speed and accuracy. So with object recognition being so good and having stereo, high resolution, you can read QRC codes, barcodes. You know immediately if a guy's picking something off the shelf and it's supposed to be a flat TV, if he's got something the size of a toaster box, he may be in the wrong place. So having the whole thing mapped out for him, and when he looks for something, he can talk and say, Samsung 55-inch TV model number, it'll show him where it is. So now he's rocketing across the little place and being efficient. And all that'll give him his bonuses, longevity, and more happiness, and better feet. So here we go. I'm a big believer that I should confess to you that the government and industry, believe it or not, goes to the movies, gets their little popcorn, picks their nose, and looks for ideas. So here's one. Somebody's probably read, tragically, a plane went down on its way to Egypt, and there was smoke in the plane. You wouldn't know this, but there are over 100,000 flights a day worldwide, and there are routine problems that cause people to have to land and check things out, and there have been planes that have been lost, not because the engine malfunctioned, not because the pilots were dizzy or drunk, it was because something was in the hold or that caused it to go off, like little hoverboards that no one wants to talk about. And so basically smoke went through the ventilators and poured in the cockpits, and the pilot co-pilot can't see. Now, actually, if you can't see out the window and you can't see your avionics, it's extremely difficult, despite your prodigious skill, to steer that plane. Because now you get a wonderful experience of looking at the smoke. It's called a whiteout. So imagine the electro-optics are in their oxygen mask, and those are under the pilot and co-pilot seat. They can pull it up, put it on their head in 5 seconds, they're O2. So they can breathe perfectly, and there's no smoke in the mask, but there's smoke everywhere else. So imagine now they're seeing their avionics turn on automatically, and they can see with their camera where the plane's going and where the ground is relative to the plane. Yeah, it's actually a big idea, and it's going to happen worldwide. And do not be surprised if everybody doesn't have it, because if you lose one plane with an unmentioned airline, a 757 stretch went down because something when the hole lit off and smoke was in the cockpit and nobody could figure out where they were relative to the ground, stuffed the plane in the ground, killed the crew, killed people on the ground, took out residences and buildings. Not a good idea. So augmented reality is going to transform every aspect of our life. And don't say, well, it doesn't matter to me. You actually do fly. Very few people have said, I'm going to use a unicycle and go to France. So we need safety and we need augmented reality in every aspects of our life. What else can you do? Everybody says VR, AR, whatever. Love them both. They all have their place. If I'm in a gaming, I want to be in VR. If I want to do all kinds of things and be mobile, I want to be AR. And so what happens is that funny little shroud there with the little pieces and all magnetically attaches to the underside of our glasses in seconds. It's just a question of your coordination by going click. And now it isolates you completely, and you have haptic experiences, and you are completely shut out the light, and you are in VR. Just as fast, you can go back to AR. It's not that I don't like to have lots of things, but I personally don't want to traipse around with a lot of equipment. And I'm just a big fan. If you can make something modular, that's a good idea. So it also does something else. With wide field of view and new optics, You get an experience that is just breathtaking. Your eyes seeing horizon to horizon, and to see it is magical. So now, the glasses are now to the point, optics are to the point, where you can go on to any one of these sites, you know them, and you can stream video right now, just like you can at YouTube and other places, and have absolutely cinema quality video, no hiccups, no screen door effect, you cannot see any pixels at all. So it looks like you're looking at a photograph or a photorealistic video in real time, because that's what's going on. So everybody in the world has realized, holy moly, we've got to allow people to have access to movies and high-quality entertainment 24/7 anywhere. Why? Because no one says, Jesus Christ, I hate my life. I have so much time. I get up in the morning, drool on myself, and try to figure out what I'm going to do with all my time. Nobody. So we have kids, we have significant others. People want us to do things. We want to do things. So guess what? Let's do ourselves a favor. Let's take the theater with us. Trust me, if you accidentally pass gas, no one will know in your home. It could be just you and the movie. So the beautiful thing, you can pause it whenever you want. You never missed a thing. So you can get this. And that's exactly what you see in the glasses. Not sort of or maybe. It looks like that. So the nice part about it, of course, is that that rich experience can be there anywhere. Now, importantly, if we say, how do we make this happen? 20th Century Fox Media Empire approached us in January and said, hey, we'd be very interested in having a relationship with you. I think we've tested everything, and we really like what you have. Can we form an alliance? So we have formed a formal alliance, and they are a minority investor in ODG. And because they own stupid things that may be helpful in business, like the Wall Street Journal and the Dow and Fox News and theaters and racetracks and things all over the world, it really helps proliferate the message that AR can be and will be a meaningful part of our life right now, because it's about one thing. This is not about entertainment. This is not about gaming. What this is access to information 24/7 anywhere in the world. And information is power. And I said something before, and I love to just pound this one because we're almost done here. Is the greatest military tactician ever was Sun Tzu, who 4,000 years ago said to me, give me one good spy and I'll trade you for 10,000 of my finest warriors. So information is power. So now what do we have? You have Stanford, you have MD Anderson, you have Johns Hopkins, Cleveland Clinic, all using these glasses in surgery, doing microsurgery inside a person's head in the brain, doing cardiovascular surgery now, and transmitting this information over the internet around the world and teaching physicians new technology and very important techniques that didn't exist before. That's it. That's the whole show. Turn it on, light it off. It's it. There's no battery packs, no nothing. That's it. So finally, imagine with AR, you can look at anybody and have anybody look like anything. And so imagine with morphing and object recognition, of course it's 3D, doesn't care if you're straight on or sideways. Kid turns his head, he still looks like a turtle. So you can go anywhere, go in theme parks, walk down the street, and you can have gargoyles jumping out of the wall, and you're, with your pocket thing like this, you're shooting imaginary things that are coming out of the walls at you. You're playing your favorite games and first-person shooters, while your wife is just zeroed in on a furlough purse that maybe not as interesting to you as it could be. So what's it really mean? Power, availability, flexibility. So where's this all going? And everybody asked me, and I was asked a couple years ago, where's it all going to go? I said, give it 2 years. And so here's what's going to happen. Imagine you go to CES in January, and what you see are things that size, that weight. When it's that weight, you don't mind. When it's that size, you don't mind. What you want is see-through. What you want is photorealism. What you want is knowing your head position, because you have a 9-axis IMU that knows your head position with a 1/10 of a degree, up and down and side to side. And now what you have is the ability to get information 24/7 anywhere in the world in real time. Now the last thing, one more thing that I would suggest that you might find fascinating. You hear a lot about light field. And it's a complex concept, and a lot of people think that it's magic and it's this and it's that. let me tell you something else. Basically, it can be in a massive team of people and lots of money, or it can be a half a dozen people, incredibly focused, incredibly smart, who live and die to advance the state of the art in software in conjunction with very highly developed, high-powered hardware. And you can have light field now. And I would say, don't believe me. Maybe after you come in here, I'd be delighted if somebody has the time to walk by our booth and go see light field running on our glasses now. This is software that takes the advantage of glasses that are so fast that you can stream incredibly sophisticated imagery and renderings of things that are photorealistic, real time, right now, and you can make mods on the fly, even with what you've downloaded. So tomorrow really is here today. It's really the question of how soon you choose to embrace it. So all the people who are in, and I tie off with this, who are using augmented reality in industry now, the reason why we went there, and so many of you that really know this went there, is you do not need to explain to Boeing or automobile companies, Porsche or BMW, you do not need to explain to Caterpillar or Kawasaki Heavy Industries why having augmented reality and being able to repair, understand, and learn and fix anything anywhere in the world with telepresence is a big idea. They don't care. They're willing to say, if it's $2,500 and it lets me do it, I don't have to put a guy in a plane and spend $5,000 to get him somewhere to fix a part. So it will change our lives. And the good thing is you're not paying for it. They're paying for it. And it's going to make your lives better because their equipment works better and it's maintained better, and our lives are going to be safer and we'll be more productive. The rest of you, guess what? Hold on to your hat. You're 6 months away from the consumer. Thank you.